You're in control of your life, your future, and the choices you make every single day. When you take full ownership of your actions, that's when everything starts to shift. The power to change your life, to build your dreams, to create the future you want, it's all in your hands. In the next few minutes, we're going to break down why taking things personally is the game changer. It's not just about showing up. It's about showing up with intent, with passion, and with a purpose. By the end, you'll understand exactly how to stop making excuses, take responsibility, and truly start making your goals a reality. Let's dive in and see how this shift can transform your life. Why success only happens when you take it personal. Success isn't something that just happens to people. It's not luck, it's not chance, and it's not something you stumble into. Success is personal. It's a decision. It's a commitment. It's a fight you refuse to lose. If you're not taking success personally, then you're leaving it up to chance, and chance is not a strategy for winning. You've got to make it matter to you so much that failure is not an option. You have to take it personal. Too many people go through life treating their goals like a hobby. They say they want success, but they don't attach any real meaning to it. They don't fight for it. They don't wake up every day with the fire to make it happen. They let distractions pull them away. They let obstacles slow them down. They let doubt creep in. And before they know it, years have passed. And they're in the same place they started. Why? Because they never took it personal. When something is personal, you don't take it lightly. You don't let it slide. You don't put it off for later. When it's personal, it becomes a part of you. Something you will not compromise on. Think about the things in your life that you truly care about. Think about the moments where you refused to quit because it mattered too much. That's the mindset you need for success. You have to take it as seriously as if your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Your future, your potential, your ability to live the life you want, it all depends on whether or not you take your success personal. You can't expect the world to hand it to you. You can't wait for someone to push you. You can't rely on motivation to magically appear every morning. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to care about your success as much as you should. It's up to you, and you have to make that decision. Do I want this badly enough to make it personal? People who succeed in life don't do it by accident. They don't achieve greatness by waiting for the perfect moment. They don't sit around hoping things will get easier. They go after what they want with everything they've got. They don't treat success as a casual desire. They see it as their duty, their obligation, their responsibility. They wake up every day knowing that if they don't push forward, no one else will do it for them. They don't wait to feel like it. They don't negotiate with themselves. They don't entertain excuses. Why? Because it's personal. When something is personal, you fight harder for it. You find a way, no matter what stands in your path. You don't accept setbacks as final. You don't allow failures to define you. You don't let the opinions of others shake your belief in yourself. When it's personal, you will go through any struggle, endure any hardship, and make whatever sacrifices are necessary, because you know what's at stake. That's the kind of intensity you need to bring to your goals. You have to make your success a non-negotiable. Look around at the people who are truly winning in life. They didn't get there by being lucky. They didn't get there by treating their goals as if they were optional. They got there because they decided they would. They got there because they refused to let anything stand in their way. They got there because they took their success personally. If you're not getting the results you want, ask yourself, am I really treating my success like it matters? Am I fighting for it like my life depends on it? Am I doing everything I can every single day to make it happen? If the answer is no, then that's the reason you're not where you want to be. If you want to change your life, you have to change your approach. You have to stop treating success like it's something nice to have, and start treating it like it's something you can't live without. You have to be willing to go all in. No more half efforts. No more waiting for the right time. No more playing it safe. The people who make it in life are the ones who commit fully. They don't just dip their toes in the water. They jump in. They burn the bridges behind them, so there's no way to go back. They give themselves no option but to succeed. That's the mindset you need. That's the level of intensity you have to bring. When you take success personally, you don't waste time. You don't make excuses. You don't let fear stop you. You wake up every day with a mission. You work harder than everyone else. You push yourself beyond what's comfortable. You do what others won't. And eventually you start achieving what others can't. There are no secrets to success. There's no magic formula. It's simple. Either you take it personal, or you don't. Either you decide that this is your time, or you keep making excuses. Either you commit fully, or you stay stuck where you are. The choice is yours. But if you truly want to change your life, if you truly want to achieve greatness, if you truly want to be the best version of yourself, then you have to stop treating success like an option. You have to take it personal. This is your life. This is your future. No one else is responsible for it but you. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep waiting, keep hesitating, keep hoping that someday things will just fall into place? Or are you going to make the decision right now that success is no longer optional, that it's no longer something you'll try to achieve, that from this moment forward, it's personal? Because when you take success personally, everything changes. You start showing up differently. You start taking action with more urgency. You stop letting distractions pull you away from your goals. You stop giving power to fear, doubt, and excuses. You owe it to yourself to take your dreams seriously. You owe it to yourself to fight for the life you want. You owe it to yourself to wake up every day with a sense of purpose and a refusal to settle for anything less than what you are truly capable of. But no one can make that decision for you. No one can force you to want it badly enough. It has to come from you. It has to mean something to you. It has to be personal. So starting today, don't just say you want success. Prove it. Show up like it matters. Work like it's life or death. Push yourself like you have no other choice. Because in the end, the only thing standing between you and the life you want is your own level of commitment. Success is personal. The question is, are you willing to take it that way? If you don't take responsibility, someone else will control your life. That's the hard truth. The minute you stop leading, life starts deciding for you. It decides where you end up, how much you achieve, and even the kind of person you become. And here's the thing. Life isn't always kind. It doesn't always give second chances. If you don't step up and take control, you'll be pushed around by circumstances, other people's opinions, and the limitations you've accepted without even realizing it. And years down the line, when you look back, you'll realize it wasn't bad luck that held you back. It was the moment you decided to stop taking responsibility for where you were headed. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to tell you, hey, it's time to start living your life on your terms. You've got to make that choice yourself. And the moment you decide to take full responsibility is the moment you take your power back. Because here's the thing. When you blame the economy, your family, your past, or even luck, you hand over your power. You're saying, I'm not in control. Something else is. But when you say, no, my life is mine, my choices are mine, my success or failure is on me, that's when you become powerful. That's when you step into the driver's seat of your life. And everything changes. You don't get to choose what life throws at you, but you get to choose how you respond. And that's where the power is. The moment you stop making excuses and start accepting responsibility for where you are and where you're going, you change the game. Life becomes less about what happens to you and more about what you decide to do about it. You stop being a victim and you become a creator. You stop letting circumstances define you and you start defining your circumstances. You stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, the perfect motivation, and you start creating those things for yourself. Because the truth is, waiting is a trap. The perfect time will never come. The right opportunity isn't going to knock on your door. You've got to take responsibility and make it happen. Think about it. Every great success story you've ever heard started with someone who took responsibility for their life. They didn't wait. They didn't blame. They didn't sit around hoping someone would hand them a chance. They looked at their situation, no matter how difficult or unfair, and they said, this is my life, and I'm going to make it what I want it to be. They decided that nothing was going to stop them. Not their past, not their fears, not the opinions of others. And because they took responsibility, they created a life they were proud of. Now, taking responsibility isn't easy. It means looking in the mirror and admitting that if you're not where you want to be, it's on you. It's about accepting that your results are a reflection of your decisions, your actions, and sometimes even your inactions. And that's a tough pill to swallow. But it's also the most freeing thing in the world. Because if your life is in your hands, that means you have the power to change it. You have the power to build, to grow, to improve, and to overcome. That's the beauty of responsibility. It gives you the freedom to create the life you dream of. But here's what happens when you don't take responsibility. Someone else takes control, and they won't always have your best interests in mind. It could be society, dictating what success should look like. It could be your boss, deciding how much you're worth. It could be your friends or even strangers, influencing your dreams and limiting your potential. When you don't take responsibility, you leave the door open for others to shape your future. And if you don't like the direction your life is going, it's because you didn't claim it as your own. The truth is, you're already making decisions every day. You decide what time to wake up. You decide whether to work hard or procrastinate. You decide whether to learn and grow or stay comfortable. You decide how to react when things get tough. The question is, are you making those decisions intentionally? Or are you letting life decide for you? Are you taking charge or are you drifting? Because drifting is dangerous. It's how people end up living lives they never chose, stuck in jobs they don't like, surrounded by people who don't inspire them, and settling for far less than they're capable of. And it all happens slowly, one small decision at a time, until they wake up and wonder, how did I get here? Don't let that be your story. Don't let years go by while you're waiting for things to change. Change doesn't come to you. You have to go after it. You have to decide that you're in charge, that you're responsible for your future. And that starts with taking ownership of your decisions today. It's about looking at where you are and saying, I got myself here and I can get myself out. It's about looking at where you want to go and saying, it's up to me to make that happen. Because when you own your results, you own your power. And when you own your power, nothing can stop you. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself for every bad thing that happens. It means recognizing that no matter what happens, you have a choice. You can choose how to respond. You can choose how to learn. You can choose how to grow. And every choice you make is a step in the direction of the life you're creating. So ask yourself, what kind of life do I want to create? Do you want a life of regret and missed chances, or a life of progress, achievement, and growth? Do you want to look back one day and say, I could have done more? Or do you want to say, I gave it everything I had, and I made it happen? Responsibility is not a burden. It's a gift. It's the key that unlocks your potential. It's the strength that pushes you forward when things get hard. It's the discipline that helps you build habits that lead to success. And it's the mindset that separates those who achieve from those who stay stuck. When you take responsibility, you stop hoping for life to change, and you start changing it yourself. You stop wishing for better days, and you start creating them. You stop waiting for permission, and you start giving it to yourself. This is your life. You only get one shot. Don't waste it waiting for someone else to give you the green light. Don't waste it blaming others for what you don't have. Don't waste it thinking tomorrow will be better if you don't make today count. The power is in your hands. The control is yours. The responsibility is yours. And that's the best news you could ever hear. Because it means that no matter where you are right now, no matter what challenges you've faced, and no matter what mistakes you've made, you can choose a different future. You can decide today that you're in charge. You can decide today that your life is your responsibility. And when you make that decision, you unlock a level of strength and determination you didn't even know you had. So take it personal. Take your future personal. Take your goals personal. Take your goals personal. Take your success personal. Because if you don't, someone else will decide it for you. And if you're not okay with living a life that someone else chooses, then it's time to step up. Take control and take responsibility. You've got what it takes. Now it's time to prove it. Every single day. How to stop letting excuses run your life. Excuses are the silent killers of dreams. They sneak into your mind quiet and convincing, and before you know it, they've built walls around your potential. Walls that keep you stuck, that keep you from stepping into the life you really want. And the dangerous part, excuses feel comfortable. They feel safe. They give you a reason to stay right where you are. But the truth is, excuses are nothing but lies. We tell ourselves to avoid discomfort, fear, and failure. If you let excuses run your life, you'll look back years from now and realize you didn't fail because you weren't capable. You failed because you let the wrong thoughts control you. You've got to take it personal when it comes to your excuses. You've got to recognize them, challenge them, and destroy them. Because if you don't, they'll keep you locked in place while your dreams fade further and further into the background. Excuses don't care about your future. They don't care about your potential. They only care about keeping you safe and small. And let me tell you something. Success is not safe. Growth is not comfortable. Progress is not easy. But it is worth it. Every single time. Think about how often excuses show up in your life. I don't have time. I'm too tired. I'm not ready. I'll start tomorrow. How many times have you let those words stop you? How many times have you convinced yourself that it's okay to wait, okay to delay, okay to settle? And where has that thinking gotten you? Now, I'm not saying this to be harsh. I'm saying it because I know what it's like to battle with excuses. I know how easy it is to fall for them. But I also know how powerful it is when you stop listening to them. When you start saying no more. I'm done living a life ruled by excuses. I'm taking control. The first step is getting honest with yourself. You've got to call out your excuses for what they are. Lies. Lies that are holding you back. Lies that are keeping you from the life you deserve. Because the truth is, you have time. You just spend it on things that don't matter. You have energy. You just waste it on things that don't grow you. You're not too tired. You're uninspired. You're not unready. You're just afraid. And every time you let those excuses win, you reinforce the belief that you can't do it. But you can. You just have to stop giving yourself permission to quit. And that's a decision only you can make. No one else can force you to push past your excuses. No one else can make you take action. It's on you. It's personal. It's your life, your goals, your future. And that means you have to take ownership. You have to decide that no excuse will be stronger than your commitment to success. You have to decide that no excuse will hold you back from doing what needs to be done. Because excuses are easy, but success is earned. It's earned by the person who shows up when it's hard. It's earned by the person who keeps going when they don't feel like it. It's earned by the person who decides, I will not let this excuse control me. I will take control. You know what's powerful? When you stop arguing for your excuses and start fighting for your future. When you stop defending your reasons for staying stuck and start building reasons to move forward. That's when the game changes. That's when you become unstoppable. Because excuses lose their power. The moment you refuse to believe them, the moment you stand up and say, I'm done letting this stop me, is the moment you reclaim your strength, and you'll be amazed at how strong you really are when you stop letting fear and comfort dictate your life. Now I know it's tough. I know it's hard to break free from old habits, old patterns, old excuses, but it's worth it. Every time you push through an excuse, you build strength, you build resilience, you build discipline, and those are the tools that will carry you to success. That's how you build a life you're proud of. Not by avoiding the hard stuff, but by facing it head on. By deciding that nothing will stop you from becoming the person you were meant to be. And here's something else to think about. Excuses don't just rob you of success. They rob you of confidence. Every time you choose an excuse over action, you teach yourself that you can't trust your own word. You weaken your belief in yourself. But every time you push past an excuse, you build confidence. You prove to yourself that you are stronger than your doubts. You prove that you can keep going, even when it's hard. And that kind of confidence is priceless. That kind of belief is what builds winners, champions, leaders. The kind of people who don't just dream, they do. They execute, they achieve. So take it personal. Take it personal when you hear yourself say, I can't. Take it personal when you catch yourself thinking, I'm too tired, or I'll do it tomorrow. Take it personal, because your future depends on it. Your dreams depend on it. And if you're not willing to fight for your own future, who will? Who's going to step in and make sure you live the life you deserve? The answer is no one. It's all on you. And that's not something to fear. That's something to embrace. Because it means you have the power to change it all. You have the power to decide, I'm done letting excuses run my life. You know, I always say life is about choices. You can choose comfort, or you can choose growth. You can choose excuses, or you can choose progress. But you can't have both. You can't stay comfortable and expect to grow. You can't live by excuses and expect to succeed. You've got to choose. And the choice is simple. Stay where you are or fight for where you want to be. And it's not about one big decision. It's about the little decisions you make every day. The decision to get up early. The decision to stay late. The decision to keep learning. The decision to say no to distractions. The decision to say yes to the grind. That's how success is built. One small decision at a time. One choice after another. And every time you choose to push past an excuse, you get stronger. You get better. You get closer to the life you want. And here's the last thing I'll tell you. You are capable of more than you know. You are stronger than your excuses. You are stronger than your fears. You are stronger than your doubts. But you'll never know how strong you are until you stop letting those excuses win. Until you decide, once and for all, that you will not settle. You will not quit. You will not let anything stand in the way of the life you deserve. That's the kind of power you have. And it starts with one simple decision. No more excuses. No more waiting. No more holding back. Today is the day you take control. Today is the day you take it personal. And when you do, you'll realize that nothing can stop you. Because you've decided nothing will. Turning criticism into your personal fuel for growth? Nothing transforms a person faster than learning how to take criticism and turn it into fuel for growth. You see, in life, criticism is unavoidable. It will come at you from all directions, sometimes from strangers, sometimes from the people closest to you. It can sting, it can hurt, and if you let it, it can stop you. But here's the truth. Criticism is not the enemy. How you handle it, that's what makes the difference. Some people crumble under criticism. Others ignore it. But a rare few, they use it. They take that criticism. They take it personal, and they let it light a fire inside them that pushes them to get better, to grow, to rise higher than they ever thought possible. That's the kind of mindset that turns ordinary people into champions. Think about it. Every successful person you admire has faced criticism. Every game changer, every leader, every innovator, at some point, someone told them they weren't good enough, that their ideas were foolish, that their dreams were impossible. And they had a choice. They could take that criticism and let it destroy them, or they could take it personal and let it drive them. And the ones who succeed are the ones who choose to use it. They decide, I'll show you. I'll prove you wrong. I'll turn every word of doubt into a reason to win. And that's the mindset you need if you want to do something great with your life. You've got to learn how to take criticism and let it fuel you, not break you. But here's the challenge. Criticism hurts. Let's be real about it. When someone doubts you, when someone attacks your efforts, it doesn't feel good. It stings. It can shake your confidence. And that's normal. It's human. But the question is, what do you do with that pain? Do you let it stop you? Or do you let it shape you? Do you use it as a reason to quit? Or do you turn it into a reason to fight harder? Because the pain isn't the problem. It's the response to the pain that makes all the difference. And when you decide to take it personal, when you decide to say, this is my life, my journey, and no criticism will stop me, you become unstoppable. Let me tell you, the best revenge is progress. The best response to criticism is growth, not arguments, not explanations, not trying to convince people. No, the best response is action. It's results. It's proving through your hard work, your discipline, and your success that you are capable of more than anyone expected. And when you do that, something incredible happens. That criticism, it becomes your fuel. It becomes the push that drives you to stay up later, to work harder, to stay more focused. Because you've decided that every word of doubt is another reason to win. And sometimes the harshest critic is the one inside your own mind. Sometimes, it's not other people tearing you down. It's your own thoughts. It's that voice that says, you can't do this. You're not good enough. You'll never make it. And that's when it gets really personal. That's when you've got to stand up and fight for yourself. You've got to take that voice, look it in the eye and say, no, I decide who I am. I decide what I can do. And I will not let fear or doubt control my future. Because the battle isn't just outside, it's inside. And if you can win that battle, you can win anything. And here's the thing about criticism. It's often a sign that you're doing something that matters. Nobody criticizes the person who's standing still. Nobody tears down the person who isn't trying. But the moment you step up, the moment you push for more, the critics will come. And that's not a sign to stop. That's a sign to keep going. That's a sign that you're on the right path. Because greatness attracts criticism. It always has, and it always will. So if you're facing it, if people are doubting you, take it as proof that you're moving in the right direction, and then keep moving. But here's what separates winners from the rest. Winners don't just take criticism. They analyze it. They ask, is there something I can learn here? Is there truth in this that can help me grow? Because not all criticism is bad. Sometimes it's the feedback we need to get better. Sometimes it's the mirror that shows us where we need to improve. And the smart ones, the ones who are serious about success, they don't just get defensive. They don't get emotional. They stay calm. They stay open. And they use that feedback to refine their skills, sharpen their focus, and elevate their game. That's how you turn criticism into growth. Not by running from it, but by leaning into it and letting it make you better. And even when the criticism is wrong, even when it's unfair, unkind, or completely off the mark, you can still use it. You can still let it be the thing that fuels your determination. You can let it be the reminder that you have something to prove, not to them but to yourself. You can let it remind you why you started in the first place, why you fight, why you grind, why you refuse to quit. Because when you take it personal, when you make it your mission to rise above every word of doubt, you become powerful. You become unstoppable. And let me tell you, the satisfaction that comes from proving the critics wrong is one of the greatest feelings in the world. Not because you need their approval, but because you know that you stayed true to your vision. You know that you didn't let negativity derail you. You know that you stayed focused, stayed disciplined, stayed committed to your mission. And that's where real confidence comes from. Not from the absence of criticism, but from your ability to rise above it. From your ability to keep going, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when people doubt you. That's what builds strength. That's what builds character. That's what builds success. So here's the challenge. The next time someone criticizes you, don't let it stop you. Don't let it tear you down. Take it personal. Take it as fuel. Let it be the thing that pushes you to work harder, to grow faster, to rise higher. Let it remind you that you have something worth fighting for, something worth proving, not to them, but to yourself. Because you don't owe anyone your dreams, your goals, your success. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to the person you're becoming. You owe it to the life you know you're capable of living. And that's what this is about. Not avoiding criticism, but using it. Not hiding from it, but standing up to it. Because when you do that, you turn every negative word into power. You turn every doubt into strength. And you build the kind of resilience that nothing can break. So don't shy away from it. Don't let it defeat you. Take it personal. Take it as the challenge that it is. And then rise to meet it. Because when you do, you'll find out just how strong, how powerful, and how unstoppable you really are. Why your dreams die when you don't take them personally. If you don't take your dreams personally, they will die. It's as simple as that. Dreams aren't just wishes you write down on paper. They aren't ideas you casually think about when life gets slow. Dreams are the heartbeat of your future. They are the vision of the person you want to become and the life you want to live. And if you don't take them personally, if you don't treat them like they are your responsibility, like they are tied to your very identity, they will fade, they will weaken, and eventually they will disappear. That's the hard truth. If you don't protect your dreams, no one else will. If you don't fight for them, they will never come to life. You see, dreams require ownership. They require a level of commitment that says, This isn't just something I'd like to have. This is a part of who I am. This is my mission. When you take your dreams personally, they stop being optional. They stop being something you pursue only when it's convenient. They become a necessity. They become the reason you get up early and stay up late. The reason you push harder, work longer, and sacrifice more. Because it's personal now. It's not just about achieving something. It's about proving to yourself that you have what it takes, that you can become the person you dream of being. And that kind of motivation changes everything. But too many people treat their dreams like they're just hobbies, like they're nice ideas they can chase when they feel like it. And that's why their dreams die. Not because they weren't good enough. Not because they didn't have the potential. But because they didn't take it personal. They didn't tie their identity to it. They didn't tell themselves, this is who I am, and I will not let this go. And when you don't take it personal, it's easy to quit. It's easy to say, maybe it wasn't meant for me. Maybe I'm just not lucky enough. But the truth is, it was meant for you. It was your dream for a reason. And if you're willing to take it personal, if you're willing to protect it, to fight for it, to give it everything you've got, then you can make it real. You have to take it personal when someone doubts you. You have to take it personal when obstacles show up. You have to take it personal when things get tough. Because if you don't, you'll let those things stop you. You'll convince yourself it's not worth the fight. But when you take it personal, you look at every challenge and say, this isn't going to stop me. I'm stronger than this. My dream is worth it. And that's when the game changes. That's when you become unstoppable. And yes, it's going to hurt sometimes. It's going to feel heavy. Because when you care about something deeply, setbacks cut deep. Failure feels personal. Rejection feels personal. And that's okay. That pain, that's proof that your dream matters to you. That's proof that you care enough to feel it. And if you care enough to feel it, then you care enough to fight for it. Because that pain isn't a sign to quit. It's a sign to push harder. It's a sign to dig deeper, to find another way, to stay in the game until you win. And let me be clear, nobody else is going to take your dream as seriously as you do. Nobody else is going to fight for it, like you will. That's not their job. It's yours. That dream was planted in your heart for a reason. It's your responsibility to protect it, to nurture it, and to fight for it. Because if you don't, it will die. Not because it wasn't meant to happen, but because you didn't take it personally enough to make it happen. You didn't take enough ownership to say, no matter what happens, I will not let this go. And you can't wait for someone to come along and give you permission. You can't wait for someone to say, now it's your time. You have to decide that it's your time. You have to decide that your dream matters now. That you matter now. And you have to be willing to face the doubt, the fear, the setbacks, and keep going anyway. Because every step you take, every moment you push forward, you're proving to yourself that you're serious. That this dream isn't just a fantasy. It's personal. It's part of who you are. And when it gets tough, and it will, you have to remind yourself why you started. You have to remind yourself that this dream is bigger than the struggle. That it's worth every sacrifice. Because the real enemy isn't failure. It's apathy. It's letting your dream slip away because you didn't take it personal enough to fight for it. And every day that you choose to fight, every day that you choose to take one more step, you get closer. You get stronger. You become more of the person you were meant to be. Because dreams don't die from failure. They die from neglect. They die when you stop believing in them. When you stop protecting them. When you let excuses and fear and comfort take their place. And if you don't take it personal, that's exactly what will happen. But if you do, if you take it personal, and say this is my dream and I will not let it go, then you give yourself the power to keep going. You give yourself the power to fight, to win, to succeed. So ask yourself today, how personal is your dream? How far are you willing to go for it? How much are you willing to sacrifice? Because if you say, I'll go as far as it takes, I'll fight as hard as it takes, I'll sacrifice as much as it takes, then nothing can stop you. Nothing can break you. And your dream, it won't die. It will live. It will grow. And one day, you'll look back and know that you made it happen because you took it personal. That's how greatness is built. That's how legacies are made, by people who take their dreams personally, who protect them like they're part of their very soul, who refuse to let anyone or anything stand in their way. That's the difference between a dreamer and an achiever, between a wish and a reality, between quitting and winning. And you get to decide which one you'll be. You get to decide how personal this is going to be for you. And that decision, that's what will shape your future. How to build unstoppable discipline by taking it personal. It's not something you are born with. It's something you build. It's a skill, a habit, a decision you make every single day. And the secret to building unstoppable discipline is simple. You have to take it personal. You have to make it matter so deeply that giving up isn't an option. You have to treat discipline like it's the foundation of your future, like it's the key to every dream you've ever had. Because the truth is, nothing in life comes without discipline. No success, no growth, no transformation. If you want to change your life, if you want to rise above where you are right now, it starts with taking discipline personally. You can't approach discipline like it's a casual thing. You can't tell yourself, I'll be disciplined when it's convenient. I'll stick to my routine when I feel motivated. No, discipline doesn't care about convenience. It doesn't care about your mood. It only cares about one thing, your commitment. And commitment doesn't happen when it's easy. It happens when it's hard, when it hurts, when you're tired, when everything in you is screaming to quit, but you decide to show up anyway. That's where real discipline is built. And that's where success is born. And listen, if you don't take it personal, if you don't decide that discipline is part of your identity, you'll always look for a way out. You'll justify skipping the gym. You'll excuse missing that work deadline. You'll tell yourself, it's okay to slack off just this once, and that once becomes twice, and then it becomes a habit. But when you take it personal, when you say, this is who I am a disciplined person, then quitting is no longer an option. Slacking is no longer acceptable. You stop negotiating with yourself, and you start demanding more from yourself. And that shift, that's where everything changes. Because discipline isn't just about doing the hard things, it's about doing them consistently. It's about showing up day after day, even when nobody is watching, even when the results aren't instant. It's about keeping promises to yourself, because you take those promises personally. You take your word personally. And when you start holding yourself to that standard, you become unstoppable. You build strength that no obstacle can break. You build habits that no setback can shake. Because discipline, once it becomes personal, becomes permanent. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Yes, it's going to stretch you. Discipline isn't fun. It's not glamorous. It's waking up early when you want to sleep. It's working late when you'd rather relax. It's saying no to distractions, no to comfort, no to easy. But every time you choose discipline, you're choosing strength. You're choosing growth. You're choosing to become the person you were meant to be. And that's a choice worth making. That's a fight worth taking personally. You have to remind yourself why you started, why you chose this path in the first place. Because when you forget your reason, you lose your discipline. You lose your edge. That's why you have to keep your dreams close. You have to keep them in front of you. You have to look at them every day and remind yourself, this is why I'm pushing. This is why I'm sacrificing. This is why I refuse to quit. And when you take it personal, when your dreams feel like a part of who you are, discipline stops feeling like a punishment and starts feeling like a privilege. It starts feeling like the key to unlocking the life you deserve. Because here's the thing, discipline is freedom. It's freedom from regret, freedom from weakness, freedom from mediocrity. Every time you choose discipline, you're setting yourself free. You're proving to yourself that you're stronger than your excuses, stronger than your fears, stronger than your doubts. And that strength, that's how you build a life that you're proud of. That's how you become the person you've always wanted to be. And when you take discipline personally, you start seeing yourself differently. You start walking taller. You start thinking bigger. You start believing in your own power. Because you know that if you can conquer yourself, if you can master your own mind and habits, there is nothing you can't do. And that belief, that confidence. That's what turns dreams into reality. That's what separates winners from quitters. That's what makes the difference between living an average life and living a legendary one. So take it personal. Take your discipline personally. Treat it like it's sacred. Protect it like it's the most valuable thing you own. Because it is. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you can become. And every time you choose it, you take one step closer to that person. Every time you choose it, you prove that you're serious about your dreams, that you're not just talking about success, but you're working for it, fighting for it, bleeding for it. And when you fight that hard, when you commit that deeply, success isn't just possible, it's inevitable. And remember, nobody can build your discipline for you. Nobody can force you to do the work. It's on you. It's your responsibility. And yes, it's a heavy responsibility. Yes, it's a hard road, but it's also the road that leads to greatness. It's the road that leads to strength and confidence and freedom. And it's the road that's worth walking. Because when you finally reach the top, when you finally look back and see how far you've come, you'll know it was worth every sacrifice. You'll know that every early morning, every late night, every hard choice mattered. And you'll be proud, not just of what you achieved, but of who you became in the process. That's why you have to take it personal. Because discipline isn't just about getting things done. It's about becoming someone. It's about becoming the kind of person who does what needs to be done, no matter what. And that kind of person, that kind of strength, that's built one disciplined choice at a time, one sacrifice at a time, one victory over weakness at a time. And every time you win that battle, you get stronger, you get better, you get closer. So decide today. Decide that discipline isn't optional. Decide that it's personal. Decide that your dreams matter enough to fight for them every day. Because the truth is, if you don't take discipline personal, you'll never reach your potential. You'll settle for less. You'll live with regret. But if you take it personal, if you decide that you're willing to do whatever it takes, for as long as it takes, you will win. You will succeed. You will become everything you were meant to be. And that victory, that's worth it all. Facing failure. Why you should take every loss personal. Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who refuse to wait. To those who take control. To those who wake up every single day and decide that they will not settle for anything less than greatness. It comes to those who are relentless, who grind through the discomfort, who push forward even when the world tells them to stop. Success is not about luck. It's about discipline, focus, and an unshakable belief that you are destined for more. And the truth is, you can have anything you want, but only if you're willing to fight for it every single day. The world doesn't reward those who just wish and hope. It rewards the ones who show up when no one is watching. It rewards the ones who sacrifice, the ones who give up comfort for the sake of progress. Because let's be real, comfort is the enemy of growth. The minute you get comfortable is the minute you stop pushing. And when you stop pushing, you stop growing. That's the moment when you fall behind, when your dreams start slipping away. But if you can embrace discomfort, if you can fall in love with the process, if you can learn to find strength in the struggle, there is nothing that can stop you. You have to be willing to do what others won't. You have to be willing to stay up late, to wake up early, to say no to the distractions that pull you off course. Because every time you give in to an excuse, you're giving up a piece of your dream. Every time you tell yourself, it's okay to skip today, you're slowing down your progress. And here's the harsh truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to knock on your door and hand you success. You have to take it. You have to grab it with both hands and refuse to let go. You have to be willing to fight for it, even when it feels impossible, even when it feels like you're moving backward, because that's when it matters most. That's when the winners are separated from the quitters. And yes, it's going to be hard. It's going to test you. You're going to face days when everything feels heavy, when your body is tired, when your mind is filled with doubt, but those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments that decide whether you rise or fall. And if you can choose to rise, even when it hurts, even when it feels impossible. That's when you build the kind of strength that no one can take from you. That's when you become unstoppable. You have to be hungry for it. You have to want it so badly that you're willing to do whatever it takes, not just when it's easy, not just when you feel motivated, but every single day. You have to be obsessed with progress. You have to fall in love with the grind, with the late nights, with the early mornings, with the moments when you feel like giving up but choose not to. Because every time you choose discipline over comfort, you get stronger. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you get closer. Every time you choose to show up, even when it's hard, you prove to yourself that you are worthy of success. And it's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about getting up one more time than you fall. It's about pushing one more rep, running one more mile, writing one more page, taking one more step. It's about refusing to quit, even when quitting feels like the easiest option, because that's where growth happens. That's where strength is built. That's where dreams are turned into reality. Not in the moments when it's easy, but in the moments when it's hard, when it's painful, when it feels like the world is against you. That's when you have to dig deep. That's when you have to remind yourself why you started. That's when you have to decide that quitting is not an option. You have to believe in yourself even when no one else does. You have to believe that your effort matters, that every sacrifice is worth it, that every struggle is shaping you into the person you need to become. Because success isn't about what you get, it's about who you become. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't quit, who doesn't back down, who doesn't make excuses. It's about becoming the kind of person who shows up and gets it done, no matter what. And that kind of strength, that kind of discipline, that kind of power, that's built one choice at a time, one decision at a time, one moment of courage at a time. You have to be willing to go to war with your own weakness. You have to be willing to fight against the part of you that wants to take the easy way out, because that's the real battle. The fight isn't out there, it's inside you. It's the battle between who you are and who you know you can be. And if you can win that battle, if you can conquer yourself, then nothing out there can stop you. No obstacle, no challenge, no setback can stand in your way, because you'll have already proven that you're stronger than anything the world can throw at you. And here's the thing, every day is a test. Every day is a chance to prove to yourself that you are committed, that you are disciplined, that you are willing to do whatever it takes. And it's not about winning every battle. It's about refusing to surrender. It's about refusing to stay down when you fall. It's about getting back up, brushing yourself off and saying, let's go again. That's the mindset that creates champions. That's the mindset that turns dreams into reality. You have to be relentless. You have to be obsessed. You have to decide that success isn't just something you want. It's something you're willing to fight for. And when you make that decision, when you commit to that level, nothing can stop you. Yes, it will take time. Yes, it will take sacrifice. Yes, it will be uncomfortable. But every step forward, every sacrifice, every moment of pain will be worth it. Because you'll know that you earned it. You'll know that you didn't just wish for success. You worked for it. You bled for it. You fought for it. And that kind of success, that's the kind that lasts. That's the kind that shapes you into a legend. So don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for someone to push you. Push yourself. Motivate yourself. Drive yourself. Decide right now that you will not settle for average. That you will not accept mediocrity. That you will do whatever it takes, for as long as it takes to reach your goals. Because that decision, that's the first step toward greatness. That's the first step toward becoming everything you were meant to be. And when the world tells you to quit, when your mind tells you to quit, when your body begs you to quit, you look them all in the eye and say, not today, not now, not ever. Because you are stronger than your excuses. You are stronger than your doubts. You are stronger than any obstacle that stands in your way. And every time you prove that, every time you win that battle, you get closer, you get stronger, you get better. And that's how you win. That's how you rise. That's how you become unstoppable. Why your health, wealth, and happiness should be personal missions. Success belongs to those who refuse to stop. To those who choose to rise every single time life knocks them down. It belongs to those who are obsessed with the process, who find strength in the struggle, and who understand that every setback is just a setup for an even greater comeback. Because the truth is, life will test you. It will challenge you in ways that feel unbearable. It will break you down, strip you of comfort, and force you to confront the deepest parts of yourself. But it's in those moments, the moments when quitting feels like the easiest option, that champions are made. It's in those moments that you decide who you really are and how far you're willing to go to reach the life you dream of. The path to success isn't lined with comfort. It's lined with discipline, sacrifice, and relentless effort. It's about doing the work when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when no one even knows you're trying. That's where greatness is born. Not in the spotlight, but in the dark. When you're exhausted, when you're doubting yourself, when every voice in your head tells you to give up. That's the moment that matters most. Because if you can find it in you to keep going, to push through that wall of doubt, that's when you step into a version of yourself that's unbreakable. That's when you build the kind of strength that will carry you through anything. The difference between those who succeed and those who fall short isn't talent. It's not luck. It's hunger. It's the willingness to do whatever it takes, for as long as it takes, without making excuses. Because excuses are easy. They're comfortable, but they kill dreams faster than failure ever will. You can tell yourself, I'm tired, I'm too busy, or it's just not the right time. But every time you do, you're choosing comfort over progress. You're choosing to stay where you are, instead of fighting for where you could be. And if you make that choice enough times, you'll wake up one day and realize that your dreams have passed you by, and you'll wonder where it all went. But the truth is, it didn't go anywhere. You let it slip through your fingers, one excuse at a time. But here's the good news. You can take control. Right now. You can decide that from this moment forward, you will not settle. You will not make excuses. You will not give in to comfort. You will fight for your goals, even when it's hard, even when it feels impossible, even when the results don't show up right away. Because progress isn't always obvious. Success isn't instant. But every small step you take is building something bigger than you can see. Every sacrifice, every disciplined action, every time you choose to push through when others would quit, you're stacking bricks for your future. And one day you'll look back and realize that all those small, painful steps created something extraordinary. It's about understanding that failure isn't the end. Quitting is. As long as you're willing to keep moving, keep grinding, keep learning, you haven't failed. You're just growing. You're getting stronger. You're getting closer. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Growth always is. But that discomfort, that pain, that's the price you pay for greatness. That's the test that separates the dreamers from the doers, the wishers from the winners. Because anyone can say they want success. Anyone can talk about their dreams. But only a few will be willing to pay the price. Only a few will be willing to sacrifice the late nights, the early mornings, the parties, the comfort, the distractions. Only a few will be willing to do what it takes. The question is, are you one of them? Because if you are, it's time to stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment doesn't exist. It's time to stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It's time to stop hoping for easier circumstances. Life will always be hard, and that's the beauty of it. Because when you earn it, when you fight for it, when you bleed for it, it means something. It transforms you. It shapes you into someone who doesn't just talk about greatness but lives it. Someone who doesn't crumble under pressure but thrives in it. Someone who looks at obstacles and sees opportunities. Someone who understands that every challenge is just another chance to prove how badly they want it. It's about showing up for yourself. Every single day. Even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Because those are the days that count the most. Those are the days when you either build discipline or lose it. Those are the days when you either move closer to your dreams or drift further away. So ask yourself, what are you choosing today? Comfort or growth? Excuses or action? Giving up or pushing forward? The choice is yours. And it's the same choice you'll have to make every single day. And you'll have setbacks. You'll have failures. You'll have moments when you feel like you've lost everything. But that's the moment when you find out who you really are. Are you the kind of person who crumbles? Or are you the kind of person who uses failure as fuel? Who takes the pain and turns it into power? Are you the kind of person who lets obstacles stop you? Or are you the kind of person who uses them as stepping stones to rise even higher? That's the choice that defines your life. Not what happens to you, but how you respond to it. Because champions are not made when everything is going well. They're made in the darkness, in the struggle, in the pain, when no one's watching, when it feels like nothing is working, when you're questioning everything. That's when you build greatness. That's when you find out what you're made of. That's when you decide if you're going to keep moving or give up. And if you keep moving, if you keep pushing, if you keep grinding, you will break through. You will win. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. Because success isn't about speed. It's about persistence. It's about resilience. It's about refusing to quit, no matter how long it takes. So don't look for the easy way. Don't look for shortcuts. They don't exist. Look for the hard road. Look for the struggle. Look for the pain. Because that's where the real rewards are. That's where the strength is built. That's where dreams come to life. And when you finally reach your goal, when you finally taste success, you'll know that you earned it, that you fought for it, that you bled for it. And that will make it sweeter than anything you could have imagined. So fight for it, grind for it, work for it, be relentless, be obsessed, be unstoppable. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up. It's about how many times you choose to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. That's what defines you. That's what shapes you. That's what creates success. And that's what will make you a legend. If you don't fight for your future, no one will. Greatness is not reserved for the chosen few. It's carved by those who are relentless enough to chase it, who are bold enough to fight for it, and who are disciplined enough to earn it. Day after day, no matter the struggle, no matter the setbacks. It's for those who understand that success isn't about how fast you can get there, but how long you're willing to endure, how much you're willing to sacrifice, and how deeply you're willing to commit to the process. Because if you're waiting for easy, you're waiting for a dream that'll never come. And if you're hoping for shortcuts, you're asking for results that won't last. But if you're ready to step into the fire, ready to embrace the grind, ready to push harder and longer than anyone else, that's where greatness lives. That's where legends are made. And that's where you'll find the version of yourself that you've always wanted to become. You see, it's easy to talk about success. It's easy to say, I want it. When you're inspired, when you're comfortable, when things feel good. But real success is forged in the moments when you don't feel like it. When you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're battling self-doubt, that's when it matters. That's when your choices define your future. It's in the silence. When no one is clapping for you, when no one is cheering you on, that's where the real battle takes place. Because if you can show up for yourself when no one else will, if you can put in the work when it feels pointless, if you can keep moving forward when every part of you is screaming to stop, that's when you unlock the level of discipline that separates the average from the unstoppable. And that's the secret no one wants to tell you. Discipline is the ultimate power. Not motivation, not inspiration, but discipline. Because motivation fades. It comes and goes like the weather. You can't rely on it. But discipline is built brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. It's doing the hard thing when you don't feel like it. It's choosing the gym over the couch, choosing work over excuses, choosing sacrifice over comfort. And every time you choose discipline, you're not just taking action. You're becoming the kind of person who doesn't give up. You're transforming into someone who doesn't need to be pushed, who doesn't need external praise, because you've learned to be driven from within. But let's be real. Discipline is not glamorous. It's not flashy. It's not about quick wins. It's about waking up every day and doing the work, even when the results aren't showing up yet. It's about trusting the process, even when you can't see the finish line. And that's hard. That's painful. That's uncomfortable. But that's also why it's worth it. Because every moment of pain is an investment. Every moment of discomfort is a brick in the foundation of your future success. And one day, when the results finally show up, when success is knocking at your door, you'll know that you earned it. Not because it was given to you. Not because it was easy. But because you fought for it. You bled for it. You refused to quit when others did. And that makes it worth everything. But understand this. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. You will mess up. You will fail. You will fall short. But that's not the end. The only thing that ends your journey is quitting. The only thing that kills your dream is giving up. So if you fall, get back up. If you slip, correct it. If you lose focus, refocus. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. What matters is that you refuse to stay down. That's where champions are made. Not in never failing, but in never giving up. In learning from every setback, growing from every mistake, and coming back stronger every single time. That's how you win. And when it feels like you're stuck, like you're not making progress, remember this: every small step matters. Every single action adds up. You might not see it today. You might not see it tomorrow, but it's happening. Your discipline is stacking. Your effort is compounding. And one day it will break through. One day all those small, painful discipline choices will lead to the life you've been dreaming of, and it will be worth it. Every sacrifice, every struggle, every moment when you chose to keep going, instead of giving up, it will all come together, and you'll realize that it was never about the result. It was about who you became along the way. Because that's the true reward of discipline. It's not just the success you gain. It's the strength you build. It's the resilience you develop. It's the confidence that comes from knowing that you can face anything, endure anything, and overcome anything. That's the kind of strength that changes your life. That's the kind of strength that makes you unstoppable. And that's the kind of strength that only comes from choosing discipline, day after day, no matter how hard it gets. So if you're tired, good. That means you're working. If you're uncomfortable, good. That means you're growing. If you're frustrated, good. That means you're pushing beyond your limits. And if you feel like quitting, that's even better. Because that's the moment when you have a choice to make. Do you give in? Do you take the easy way out? Or do you dig deeper? Do you find that extra bit of strength, that extra bit of fight, and keep going? That's the decision that separates the winners from the losers. That's the decision that builds greatness. And if you choose to keep going, if you choose to fight through the discomfort, you will not lose. You might stumble, you might fall, you might get knocked down, but you will not lose. Because as long as you keep getting back up, as long as you keep pushing forward, you are winning, you are growing, you are building something that no one can take from you. And that's the ultimate victory. That's the power of discipline. That's the reward of persistence. That's the legacy of relentless effort. So don't stop. Don't quit. Don't give in. Fight for your dreams. Work for them. Bleed for them. And when it gets hard, because it will, remember why you started. Remember what you're fighting for. Remember the vision you have for your life. And let that vision pull you forward. Let that vision give you strength. Let it remind you that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. And then prove it. Prove it to yourself. Prove it every single day. With every single action. With every single step forward. And one day you'll look back. And you'll be proud. Proud that you didn't quit. Proud that you chose discipline. Proud that you became unstoppable. Why settling should feel personal, and how to stop it. Success is never an accident. It's a deliberate, relentless pursuit. It's waking up every single day and choosing to fight for what you want, even when it feels like the world is pushing back. It's about showing up when you're tired, putting in the work when you're uninspired, and pushing through when every excuse tells you to stop. Because the truth is, every day you hesitate, every day you choose comfort over progress, is a day you fall behind. But every day you choose to fight, every day you take even the smallest step forward, you're not just moving closer to your goals, you're becoming the kind of person who doesn't quit, the kind of person who earns success. Not by luck, but by sheer, unshakable determination. And that's the power you need to unlock. That's the mindset that turns ordinary people into champions. You have to understand, greatness isn't handed out. It isn't given to the person who hopes the hardest. It's given to the one who works the hardest. The one who refuses to back down, who refuses to let circumstances dictate their life. Because circumstances will try to break you. Life will test you. It will put obstacles in your path and ask you, how bad do you really want this? And it's in those moments that your future is decided. Not when everything is easy, but when it's hard. When the path is unclear. When progress feels slow. That's when you prove to the world and to yourself what you're really made of. That's when you show whether you're committed to the dream or just playing with it. And it's easy to be committed when everything is going your way. It's easy to be disciplined when motivation is high, when you're winning, when the results are obvious. But what about when the motivation fades? What about when you hit a wall? When progress stalls? When you feel stuck? That's the true test. Because discipline isn't about how you act when it's easy. It's about how you act when it's hard, when it hurts, when the excuses pile up and the voice in your head says, it's okay to quit. That's when discipline matters the most. That's when every decision counts. Because discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about showing up, even when you don't feel like it. It's about pushing through, even when you're tired. It's about being stronger than your excuses. Every single day. You see, the reason most people fail isn't because they lack talent. It's not because they're unlucky. It's because they give up too soon. They stop when it gets hard. They quit when it takes too long. But winners, champions, those who achieve greatness, they keep going. They don't ask, how long will it take? They ask, how far am I willing to go? And the answer is always the same, as far as it takes. No limits, no boundaries, no giving up. Because they know that every sacrifice, every struggle, every moment of discomfort is shaping them into the person they need to become, to handle the success they're chasing. And that's the difference. That's what separates the weak from the strong, the average from the exceptional. But let me tell you something important. It's not always about massive leaps. It's about consistent, small steps. It's about doing the right thing today, and then doing it again tomorrow, and the day after that. It's about building momentum, one action at a time. Because progress isn't always loud. Success isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. It's in the choices you make when no one is watching. It's in the sacrifices you make when no one is clapping. It's in the discipline you maintain when no one is celebrating. That's where real success is born. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Not in the cheers, but in the silence. And if you can master that, if you can learn to love the grind, to embrace the struggle, to find strength in the process, you will become unstoppable. And yes, it's going to be hard. It's going to test you. You'll have moments when you doubt yourself. Moments when you feel like you're not good enough. Moments when quitting feels easier than continuing. But that's when you have to remind yourself why you started. Why you committed in the first place. Because your dream, your goal, your vision, those things are worth fighting for. They're worth every ounce of energy, every drop of sweat, every sacrifice you have to make. They're worth the pain, the discomfort, the loneliness that comes with chasing something greater. And if you can hold on to that, if you can remind yourself that the struggle is temporary, but the rewards are forever, you'll find the strength to keep going. And remember this, every time you choose discipline over comfort, every time you choose effort over excuses, you're not just getting closer to your goal, you're building a version of yourself that is stronger, tougher, more resilient, a version of yourself that can handle more, endure more, achieve more. And that version of you, that's the version that wins. That's the version that dominates. That's the version that turns dreams into reality. But you don't get there by accident. You get there by showing up, by doing the work, by refusing to quit, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. So ask yourself right now, are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to sacrifice comfort for greatness? Are you willing to trade temporary ease for permanent strength? Because that's what it takes. It takes saying yes to discipline when every part of you wants to say no. It takes pushing yourself when you've got nothing left. It takes choosing to fight, to persist, to endure. And if you can make that choice every single day, you will win. It's not a matter of if, but when. And one day, when you've made it, when you've achieved the goal that once felt impossible, you'll look back and realize that it wasn't luck. It wasn't talent. It wasn't some secret formula. It was discipline. It was hard work. It was resilience. It was the willingness to do what others wouldn't. And that's something no one can take away from you. That's a victory that lasts a lifetime. So keep going. Keep pushing. Keep grinding. The world doesn't owe you anything. Success isn't coming to find you. You have to fight for it. you have to chase it down. You have to earn it, and you earn it with discipline. Every single day.